Thank you for tuning in to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast, where each week we will be covering today's real estate news, tips, tricks, and trends in the Kansas City real estate market. Hosted by the Brasel Real Estate Group at RE/MAX Heritage, out of Blue Springs, Missouri. And here's today's host.
Hi, this is Trisha Digert, team leader for the Brasel Group at RE/MAX Heritage, and we are here today for our Brasel broadcast. Today, I have again Alicia Harwood and Razzle Dazzle Brasel. Mr. Phil Brasel, our team owner, is joining us again today. So let's get started. So we're going to look at Market Mayhem first. So Alicia, what do you got for us?
All right. So in Grain Valley, we have 1 month supply of homes on the market. And in Grandview, we have 1.3. So we are seeing an increase in the amount of time that homes are staying on the market in these cities.
And again, these are price points up to $250,000. So in Raytown, we're at 0.97, so just shy of a month. Lee Summit, we're at 0.8. And Independence, we are at 1.4 months supply.
Yeah. Then we've got two other areas that we're listing right now is Belton and Blue Springs. In Belton, we have 0.91, which is almost a month's supply, which if you can relate, what that means is that if there was not another house put up for sale right now, in 1 month, there wouldn't be a house for sale at all in Belton. Isn't that crazy? That's unbelievable. In Blue Springs is even worse. It's only 0.73. So it is, definitely a seller's market.
Absolutely, in that 250 and less.
Yep.
Right.
And now we're on to what the heck. So today we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates. So Alicia, you want to start us off on that?
Yes. So according to Freddie Mac, we are at a 3-year low in interest rates. And I just closed a buyer last week and he got an interest rate in the 3%, which, that's kind of been hard to get the last year. So really great interest rates, definitely helps the buying power and how much home you can buy. So that's great. What do you guys got on
more home
interest
for
rates?
the money is always a good thing. Phil, what do you got?
Well, again, we have a mortgage company also called Motto Mortgage, and I just got through talking to them. They closed, or they didn't close, but this week they got 2 deals at 3.25% interest. One was a refi for 30 years, and the other was a 3.25 for 30 years on a purchase, which again, that's as low as it's been literally probably in history, because those are fixed 30-year rates. They're not ARMs. They're actually fixed 30-year rates. So, man, now's the time to buy, but also if your rate is in the 4s, you really ought to think about refinancing right now.
Absolutely. That's a lot of money over a 30-year
Absolutely.
30-year loan.
Tremendous amount of money.
So definitely something to be looking into. Hi, and now it's time for our Seller's Soundoff. This is the part of our broadcast where we talk about what it's like for you as a seller, or for you, those of you who are thinking about listing. This is important information just for you. So we're looking today at whether it's a seller's market or is it a buyer's market. So Phil, what do you think it is right now for the market under, say, 250, 225?
Definitely a seller's market. We talked about earlier about days, how many days that we have on the market on houses for sale. There's not that many out there. So at 225 or below, they are just flying off the shelf. In fact, most of them have multiple offers on them. So again, if you're 225 or less, your house is going to sell quick.
So in that seller's market, for you as a seller, that means that you have the ability to be a little tougher with negotiations with that buyer. So, Alicia, what kind of things do you think about when we go into negotiating?
For my sellers, I'm always trying to pay as little of the buyer's closing cost, if possible. When we get multiple offers, a lot of times we can not contribute to the buyer's closing cost. So that's great for the sellers. when it comes to inspection negotiations, there's things that if a buyer sends over, 20 things they want fixed on a resolution, when the seller has multiple offers, they're in a stronger point at that they can say, well, we'll do these things. And if you don't like that, there were multiple offers we can go back to. So, I'd say, definitely under 225, still a strong seller's market.
Absolutely. And just always remember, there are things that you might, as a seller, you're going to have to do. For example, if there's termites, you have to treat for termites. But when it comes to things that are just little things that don't affect the loan, or they don't affect the integrity of the house, you don't really have to do all that when it's a seller's market. So what are we looking at when we are talking about that market that's over that 225, 250, when we start getting into those 300s? What are you seeing as far as the market? Do you think it's a seller's market there, or is it a buyer's market?
It seems like it's trending over to a little bit more of a buyer's market. They're sitting on the market longer, so the days on market's definitely higher once you get up into that high 2s and 3s and up from there. So that's a good indicator that there's less buyers in that market. So when you do get a buyer, you might not want to negotiate as hard with them.
Absolutely. You kind of want to be a little more flexible when you're in that market. I think in those 3s, I think it's hard for us to ever, probably in mid-Missouri, to get into, in the Kansas City area, really get into a strong seller's market for those price points that are a little higher, because that's not your median, your average. But Phil, what do you think our sellers need to expect when they're in that 3s range? I mean, do they need to expect like full offers? Or are they going to expect to pay some seller paid closing costs? Or
yeah, I think that they're probably, when you get into that market, of course, there's less buyers at the higher price ranges, and so you're going to have to expect to negotiate some. Chances are they're not going to offer you full price, so you just kind of got to be, expect that. And then they might ask for some, conditions that you need to consider to sell it. But the main thing is that the price point in our area, when it gets into over the 3s, there are fewer and fewer buyers. So again, you've got to be able to negotiate some with them and get your house sold.
And I think one thing that's super important when you're thinking in those 3s is to be kind of aggressive on your strategy as far as what price point you're listing at. Don't be listing it thinking, oh, someone will then come and see it and they'll want to negotiate down. Come in the market, make sure you know what your competition is. And you got to pay attention, because that competition changes. I know this week I've seen a bunch of price drops in that area over in Lee Summit. And, those are important items to pay attention to, because when those price drops happen, you might just end up being out of the competition. So you want to be really careful and watch that market and those price drops.
Yeah, because again, the worst thing in the world you can do is overprice your house. Because again, if you price your house at $350 and the whole neighborhood's at $325 or $315, nobody's going to look at your house. Then you got to go back and reduce the price. Then they think something's wrong with your house. So again, pricing's, stay on top of it with your realtor, because they know what they're doing when they talk about price for you.
And it certainly changes what you might come into the market at the first of a month. Changes drastically when new comps come out. And those appraisers, they're on top of those things, so that's how it's going to value your house. Now it's time for our buyer bites. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how do you know when it's a good neighborhood. I mean, we can look at some of the common things, and there's some other things though that I didn't even think about. And I looked this up on realtor.com, so this is kind of coming from some other information. So, Alicia, what are the things that when you're taking your buyers out, you're looking for, or you're helping them look at the neighborhoods?
Yeah, so one of the first things we look at is the neighbors' houses. Are they taking care of their homes? How do their roofs look? Is their yard clean? If there is a neighbor's home that has just, several broken down cars in the front yard, that might not be as appealing to the buyer.
And it also affects your your value when you want to sell.
Yeah.
Phil, what are some of the things that you kind of encourage your buyers to do as far as looking into how the neighborhood is?
Yeah, I always encourage my buyers to go, before they actually even look at a house, is, hey, check out the neighborhood, because the house might look really good, online, but then the neighborhood could be really a bad neighborhood too. So, the first thing I tell them is that if you're driving down the neighborhood and you see a car and there's no wheels on it, that's probably not a good neighborhood to go into. But again, they need to just look at all the conditions of the other houses, because it's real easy to tell too. I was in a neighborhood yesterday, in fact, and there was like 3 houses in this one area within a 2-block section of this neighborhood that the grass was probably 2 foot high, to where these people weren't taking care, and there were people living in there.
Right.
And they weren't taking care of their houses. So again, that affects your neighborhood, and it affects the value of your home. So again, you need to drive by and take a look at, are those the neighbors you want to live around?
So I think some of the other things I try to tell my buyers, look at traffic, look at the locations, the crossroads, how busy those spots are, because that's going to impact your neighborhood as well. There's sites that you can go on to look up crime stats. One of my big things is I'm always following school districts. I've always done that. Even in my first career as a therapist, I was always looking at school districts and how well they were performing. So one of the things that Realtor.com said was go in and look at school stats, and if that neighborhood school is enrolling fewer students, then that could be a sign that there's a decline in the neighborhood. So I thought that was a really, really good point to make. And then also looking at how many homes are for sale in that neighborhood. I mean, if it's 1 or 2 or 10, maybe that's good. But if it's, a neighborhood of 200 homes and there's like 15 houses for sale, you might start to wonder.
Yeah, why is everyone listing their home and trying to get out of here right now?
Yeah, what's going on in this neighborhood?
Exactly. And the other thing too, some people say, well, school district doesn't matter to me because I don't have any kids, or my kids are grown. It still should matter to you, because you're going to want to sell that home at one point, and so you want to make sure it is in a good school district so it'll sell quicker for you.
Right, and your value is going to be increased by that school district.
Exactly.
So always follow that. The other thing Realtor.com was saying is look, especially in tighter neighborhoods, look for parking, because that can be an issue in some neighborhoods, and that can be a deterrent a little bit. And also look around the neighborhood as far as your businesses. If there's a lot of empty storefronts, that's probably not a good sign. If there's businesses, people aren't able to go out to the neighborhood businesses and support them, then they're probably not doing the best as far as being able to care for their properties as well.
Yeah.
In closing today, we were talking about the interest rates that are still so great. Get out there and check out what you can buy for your money. Seller Soundoff, we talked about the different things about the seller's market being under 225, and probably a little more of a buyer's market in that 300 range and up. And Buyer Bites, check out how we determine what a good neighborhood looks like. And Alicia, you want to finish it off?
Yeah, so we're bringing you guys valuable news, to help you get the most for your homes or get the best deal when you're buying. So please like our page and follow it. And then we're also on YouTube. So the Brasel Real Estate Group is our Facebook page and YouTube page. So you guys can like it and just keep an eye on the information we're bringing to you. Thanks for watching.
Thanks again.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast with the Brasel Real Estate Groups at RE/MAX Heritage. If you like our show and would like to keep up with our upcoming episodes, please like our Facebook page, the Brasel Real Estate Group, where we go live every Wednesday. Or you can find us on YouTube at the Brasel Real Estate Group page. To find out more about our real estate services, you can find us at www.braselrealestategroup.com or contact us at 816-897-5151. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day. Our friends at Homestead Inspection Company have been serving the Kansas City metro area for over 27 years. Homestead's inspectors can help you take control of a real estate transaction by helping you identify potential problems, survey the property overall condition, Consider possible repairs and upgrades. Help discover environmental hazards. Take measure of your investment decision. And experience confidence and peace of mind during negotiations. Homestead covers inspections for seller pre-inspections, buyer home inspections, multifamily, and commercial property inspections. Contact Homestead today at www.homestead-inspection.com or 816-833-1090 for all your inspection needs. If you're in the market to find a home, refinance your existing home, or thinking about a reverse mortgage, contact Deb Brasel at Motto Mortgage Heritage. Deb's an award-winning mortgage broker who's been in the mortgage business for almost 20 years. Contact Deb today to get pre-approved at 816-678-9283. Deb Brasel is a licensed mortgage broker, NMLS number 299821. Motto Mortgage Heritage Office can be located at 1900 Northwest South Outer Road, Suite 209, Blue Springs, Missouri, 64015. Office NMLS number 1720438. Each office is independently owned, operated, and licensed.